For daily ask Reddit. Retail workers of Reddit, what is your best method for passing time? When I worked retail I used to go out and slowly gather the carts. I did this too. Nobody else in the store would get carts, so I had an excuse of saying hey, at least I did it. I did this too, but I live in Phoenix. Heat stroke is great. My friend was a dedicated, as in his only role, trolley pusher at a supermarket, and was actually pretty proud about it. In fairness, I'd seen him a few times as he'd push ridiculous lines of trolleys. He reckoned he managed over 30 in one go once. He'd often get told off for doing too many at the same time. Was dangerous apparently. So it was with great joy one of our group found the Urban Dictionary definition for trolley pusher. I organized. My last retail job had a long-standing policy of no one was allowed to be doing nothing behind the counter because a significant amount of merchandise was behind the counter, which was so stupid, so customers could shop while we were working. I made sure the shelves and pegs were organized, clean and shopable. I reorganized. I worked at a very slow record store and would move the records around like customers would, then would go back and put them in alphabetical order. This sounds awesome. I like doing this with trading cards. I work as a grocery cashier, and it gets boring fast scanning items and standing for hours and time goes by very slow. I play a game with myself where I choose look for / count for one specific thing like bad tattoos. So every 10 people I see who I consider to have a bad tattoo I check the clock. Every 20 people who come in with their dog in a stroller, very common in my store, I check the clock ECT. Definitely lots of people watching. Coming up with games about the customers, or with the customers. I think retail stoked my love of conflict, because it broke up the day when a customer was an asshole. Oh, I definitely enjoy messing with rude customers. I got a complaint to management yesterday cause I embarrassed the man by laughing at him. I find laughing when customers are being rude makes them livid, and you can't really get in trouble for laughing. Edit. Just got off of work. I had to write an incident report cause this lady repeatedly yelled at my bagger to shut the fuck up. And I told the lady that my bagger didn't have to shut up and that I didn't know who the fuck she thought she was for talking to her like that. Lady said she was going to corporate for me cursing. Should have stuck to my usual laughing technique. I was also a cashier. To pass the time I would tidy the shelves, clean my desk, talk to the customers, clean the floors etc. Grabbing my phone or sitting wasn't really acceptable. I worked the night shift mostly, and up until 8 o'clock time would pass really slow. That would be nice, but the way my store is structured our cashiers are not that close to the aisles and they have people whose jobs are to specifically tidy up the shelves and clean. Plus my store is also always busy, so our lines never stop. There's always customers, so we can't really step away from the register. I had a friend that worked at a Walmart in college, and he was convinced that an employee that looked like they were working was invisible to the management staff. So he took a big broom and walked around the same set of aisles for an entire 8-hour shift and did nothing else to see if they would notice. The same manager walked by him 22 times and never said a word to him. Piece of advice to some of you. This is my superpower that I discovered when I was in retail. Always keep moving with purpose. I now have a cushy office job and I still do it 30 years later. If I'm bored I grab a couple of papers and walk quickly through other buildings, departments, wherever. Nobody corners me for some bullshit problem or questions what I'm up to because I'm in a hurry to get somewhere with my decoy paperwork. I'll go out to the production floor, stare at wires in the network closet for a while or just stare at the ceiling and pretend to be looking for the wireless antenna. I've been in every office and closet in 9 buildings, can tell you where every roof access ladder is, every compressor, every HVAC unit, every security camera, every power cage. I just looked like I really was in a hurry to get there for an unstated purpose. Chatting with coworkers mostly, that and imagining a different reality in my head. Oh yes, I've mentioned this before on an older thread, but putting yourself in a fictional world and Mary suing the shit out of it is so much fun. It's not just retail. Office workers do it regularly, sometimes literally, since I do know some aspiring writers that just take the downtime to draft things. I can always tell which ones are the fanfic writers. Who or how can you tell? Generally, fanfic writers are more focused on characters and interactions that develop them. Original fiction authors are usually more focused on plot and events. Not a hard and fast rule, but a good rule of thumb. Fanfic writers who decide to pursue writing actual novels are often very good at character arcs, but poor at pacing events and trimming fat. GRRM, while taking far too long, has a great method for this. He created the broad strokes and overall plot as well as the world, then the characters and characters would end up, and then write how the characters get to that point, based on how they are.